name is Audra Boachi, a member of the City Club Youth Forum Council, and I am very pleased to welcome you to this afternoon's forum. Throughout history, religious perspectives have affected our nation and the world. Our nation calls for the separation of church and state as a result of this. But recently, we have seen that religion infiltrates all governments, no matter the provisions set forth within their constitutions. Today, many Americans in the United States and radical Muslims elsewhere gain ground. In order to prevent this from occurring, many say that it is necessary to minimize the influence of religion on politics by thus demanding the government to act in a truly secular fashion. However, with about 83% of Americans claiming to belong to one religion or another, and the knowledge that religious influence can only be minimized in government, not eradicated, it is important to understand the arguments of the various religions. Therefore, today we have gathered to try and understand religious argument. Our panel consists of 5 individuals representing the top 5 religions in the United States: Protestantism, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, and Buddhism. Professor Kelly, or Dr. Kelly, from the Religious Studies Department at John Carroll University will be asking these panelists about their religion's stance on moral and political issues which have come to light in recent years, as well as the effects of religious diversity in America. Speaking on behalf of Judaism, we have the Rabbi Edward Bernstein, spiritual leader of Congregation Shih in Cleveland. On behalf of Buddhism, we have the Venerable Ying-Fa, abbot of Cloudwater Zendo, the Zen Center of Cleveland, and founder of the Nianfo Order of Buddhist monks. On behalf of Catholicism, we have the Reverend Father Joseph T. Hilinski, pastor of Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Church in Cleveland and director of the Ecumenical Interfaith Affairs Commission for the Diocese of Cleveland. On behalf of Islam, we have Professor Ramez Islambouli, president of the Uqba Mosque Foundation in Cleveland and adjunct professor of Islamic law at Case Western Reserve University. And finally, on behalf of the United Church of Christ, we have the Reverend Carl J. Richter, senior minister at First Congregational Church in Lorraine. Please join me in welcoming the panel.
Well, thank you, Ms. Boachi. Welcome, everybody. Can I ring the bell? That's neat. I'd like to have that in class every time someone gets out a cell phone and ring the bell. No. So welcome. We have 5 panelists. I think I'll ask them to respond to questions in the order that Ms. Boachi introduced them. So the first question would be a rather general one, of course. And what would you consider to be the impact of religious diversity on American society? Rabbi Bernstein, would you begin?
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. It's an honor to be here, and congratulations to all of the young people here who work so hard, and I commend you for all of your achievements and look forward to wonderful things in the years ahead from all of you. When I think about religion in American society today, one story crops up in my mind, and I think it's appropriate given that this year we celebrated the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln just about a month ago. And there was a story that Abraham Lincoln in the middle of the Civil War was visited by some clergymen. They were men in those days. And they said, "Mr. President, we just want to let you know that the Lord is on your side." And Lincoln may have stroked his beard and said, "You know, whether the Lord is on my side is not what keeps me up late at night. But what keeps me up at night is the worry of whether I am on the Lord's side." And I think that captures my own struggle, my own aspirations to mingle my religious faith and values with my American values. So let me spell that out a little bit more. America has thrived on diversity. We are we are blessed as a nation because so many people from so many different religious faiths are able to practice their religion freely, and that is really the reason so many people came to these shores. America has benefited tremendously from our diversity. We've benefited intellectually. Our culture has been enriched by the presence of so many different people. America guarantees rights, and without these rights, we as individuals and we as different faith communities might not have thrived the way we have in America. At the same time, religion inspires in us moral imperatives, what to do because they are the right thing to do. America doesn't necessarily do that. In fact, it doesn't. Our government doesn't pass laws based necessarily on what's morally right. We come to that through our faith communities. Within Judaism, I come to understand the role of religion through Judaism's recognition that all human beings are created in the image of God. This is a phrase that appears in the first chapter of Genesis, and when we regard all humanity as created in the image of God, it means that every single person has a spark of the divine within them. This means that we have a moral obligation to treat everyone with that kind of respect, that everyone is created in the image of the divine, and therefore Judaism has, as part of our faith tradition, an elaborate system of what we call commandments, or in Hebrew, mitzvot, that guide us in all the ways of life. I want to close this opening remark by just noting that we are in the midst of a great economic crisis, a recession in our country, and I think this is a time where we as Americans can really be guided by our religious values more than ever before. Our nation fell into this recession largely because of our individualism, and individualism, when unfettered, can lead to greed, which led to the economic crisis that we're in. I believe that religion, at least within my own understanding of my faith, can help us find the responsibilities and the sense of responsibility to temper the rights that are guaranteed to us by living in this country. Thank you.
Venerable Shih, please.
I believe the situation as described is to our great advantage, our very, very great advantage, for there are as many ways to follow as there are people, as many ways to follow as there are inclinations, backgrounds, and so on and so forth. And I think this is a very, very great advantage for us. There is something for everyone. When the Buddha was talking about things like this, he always talked about the finger that points to the moon. And what he was saying in his day was that everything I say points in a certain direction to that beauty of the moon. And we have so many fingers pointing to that beauty of the moon, we cannot imagine how incredibly fortunate we are. It's difficult to conceive sometimes. And this moon that we're talking about, we call in our tradition ultimate reality.